even the most subtle feelings, even the most intimate thoughts that feel so personal and they feel so close, they feel so real. Even then, they are felt in something, right? They are known by something. The point of inquiry, point of self-inquiry, is to recognize in what is this felt? By what is this experienced? Even the subtlest of thought, right? Even the subtlest of feeling, of like your awareness being in your head, of you living from your head, and the feeling of the body being you, right? That's the most intimate feeling that you have. After that comes everything, right? So even the subtlest feeling, which is you being your body, even that is perceived by something. That is only how you know it. Does that make sense? So stay with me here. If it's a little complicated, it'll get easier, it'll get simpler. Before you put a label on this feeling, right, as, oh, this is my body, or you put a little name on this body and you attach a story to it and you give it meaning, you give a meaning to all of these images and perceptions and feelings, you attach a story onto them, you give them a name. Before all of that, they are simply just impersonal, meaningless feelings, thoughts, sensations, perceptions. Just like, let's just say you put a hand on your air conditioner and you register some like vibration or whatever, and you don't put any thought to it, you don't put any meaning to it, it's just a sensation that you felt. Similar to that, the very most intimate feeling and sensation of you inhabiting your body is also just a meaningless, impersonal sensation that is registered in what? In you. If you don't look, if you go throughout this life without looking into this, you will miss it. And you will mistake that to be you. The point of self-inquiry is to look. Is to look that, okay, if this is felt, if this is registered, it must be felt by something. It must be felt in something. It must be perceived by something. It must be known by something. Only then can you report that I know this, that I feel this, that I feel it here, and then I sometimes don't feel it, and then I do feel it again, right? There's something that is here, something that is even closer than the most intimate sensation of you inhabiting your body. Even the most, it's closer than even the most intimate thought that you're experiencing, the most intimate feeling that feels so real. So again, stay with me here. We're getting there. The point of inquiry is to recognize that all of these things are perceived by something. So let's, for moments at a time, give our attention to that. Right? Rather than flowing our attention outwards onto those things, right? Outwards, not just meaning outwards onto circumstances and outside physical world, which by the way is not so physical. That's for another video. Not just outside onto circumstances, but even outside onto the subtle thoughts, the subtle feelings, the most intimate sense, I am this body. Even that is attention flowing onto something, awareness flowing onto something, which is perceived. So rather than focusing on the perceived, let's quickly focus on what is it that is doing the perceiving. Let's try to look and recognize in what these sensations are registered, by what these thoughts are perceived. What is it that knows my experience? What is it that is aware of my experience? And so you look, right? And that is a process of self-inquiry. And what this does, you might say, what's the point of this? Okay, we're looking. What's the point of this? The point of it is that it creates a distance, a gap, right? It's so simple to practice. But when you do it with consistency and true interest, the gap between the awareness, which is registering all of these things, and all that is registered, the thoughts, feelings, sensations, perceptions, the gap increases. Right now, there is no gap. That's why your awareness, you, is identified with the body, with the mind, with these emotions, thoughts, labels, judgments, which is all mind, by the way. And so there's no gap, and therefore you feel everything so real, and you feel you're so involved in the game, and there's no freedom there. Self-inquiry helps you just create that gap, right? And it unmixes your beingness from all of these sensations and perceptions and thoughts, so that you can actually have distance and detachment from all that is perceived, so that you are not constantly being pulled and tugged around by all that is perceived, so that you actually have the freedom to be what you actually are, rather than always believing yourself to be something that is arising in this moment. It is the only real freedom. It is beyond personal freedom, being able to create the life you want or whatever. It is beyond even that. And it is this knowingness of your own being that the mind actually craves, because that is where true happiness, true peace, true love, true fulfillment resides. Mind is separation. When you are identified with all of these sensations and perceptions, which are all temporary, your sense of self becomes and feels temporary. And that's why you always feel anxious, fearful. Even the most successful people, they have this inner sense of unfulfillment, this sense of fear that they might lose everything. Their sense of self, their sense of identity is based around what they have and all of these sensations and perceptions, which are temporary. And so that's what fear is. It's this sense of not being whole. It's this sense of being identified with what is temporary. So the mind in that state projects lack, fear, anxiety. And what it really wants is that wholeness. It wants to subside back into its source, which is you, that awareness. But it feels this discomfort, so it just launches more desires based of what it thinks it will get, and then feel that wholeness, right? So the relationship, the car, the money, or whatever. And it believes that all these external desires will bring it that wholeness and that fulfillment, and quench its fear and sense of like anxiety. And those desires, when you do get them, they do temporarily quench that, right? However, it immediately starts again because it can't feel whole. It is by definition separate. A sense of separation, a sense of temporariness. So then it again launches another chase. And so it keeps you in a chase your entire lifetime. And it is a very exhausting, a very efforting way to live, where you constantly have to chase in order to first distract yourself from all of this sense of fear and anxiety, and you have to constantly be in the chase for something new. So the point of self-inquiry is to recognize what you are, right? In what even the mind is perceived. The mind is registered by something. What is that something that is prior to mind, to all sensations, perceptions, and emotions and thoughts? That is what you are, because you are the one that reports all of these things that are coming and going. It's just that right now you are mixed up with what is coming and going. And self-inquiry is a process of unmixing that you and the rest, so that you can live life from your wholeness, from your completeness, from your true position, in which you don't constantly feel fearful and lackful. Only in this way can you ever have a true relationship with anything in life, right? Only then can you be truly authentic. Only then can you ever feel fulfilled. So whenever you are feeling these sensations, whenever you are having these thoughts, the process of self-inquiry, the practice of self-inquiry is to urge you to let go of giving so much significance and interest to the thoughts and feelings that are arising, but rather recognize that they are known by something. So inquire what that something is. What is this sense of me that knows these thoughts, that is aware of these sensations? And you just stay as that me. Every time you inquire like this, right, you will see naturally, right, every time you inquire, and you're not trying to get another mental answer, you're actually going directly to the experience of this me that is perceiving this. It's just this natural sense of presence, of knowingness, that is here in everybody's experience. No matter if you're living on the street or if you're Bill Gates, you are living through this sense of beingness. It is prior to your story. It is prior to everything that you perceive. So let's pause giving so much significance and interest to what is perceived and the story of what is happening, and let's rest a little bit with the one that is perceiving. Let's abide as that. Let's simply just give that more interest, at least for a few moments at a time. And you'll notice that as soon as you do this, as soon as you look in this way, all thoughts and emotions automatically just get zoned out of view, right? Just like the camera that is focused on something, your eyeballs that are focused on something and everything else is blurred out of view. Just in this way, we're trying to zoom in on your sense of being, your sense of aliveness, your sense of presence, where your attention is coming from, where you are aware of everything from. When we do that, all that is perceived gets blurred out of view. And all that we're just focused from, is just this sense of being, this sense of presence. And in that practice, mind subsides back into source, even if it's for a few moments. And if you do this consistently over time, your sense of self will start to be unmixed from all this temporary phenomena, which constantly keeps you in fear and anxiety. And you will actually come back to your true place, your true power. And from that place, you can live a life of detachment, even within involvement. So in this way of living, it's not that goals are no longer there or action is no longer there. Everything still remains. All activity still happens, but now it happens with less constant involvement. It happens with a sense of harmony, with a sense of being free from all that is. Only in this way can you be happy and fulfilled regardless of what you have or don't have. Only from this place can you actually create true abundance and well-being. And this state, this sense of being, right? The fragrance of it that cannot be, it's inseparable from it. The fragrance of this self, of you, is love, happiness, peace. Those things aren't something that have to be attained. That's what the mind tells you, and it keeps you in a chase. But those things, as this unmixing happens, you start to find out that that's just your natural self. Happiness, love, those aren't even necessarily feelings. They are your natural state. They are not feelings that are temporary. They are the blue sky. I'm getting a call. They are the blue sky that is always there, that was being covered by the clouds previously. So definitely went deep today. I want you to practice this wholeheartedly. Watch my self-inquiry playlist. I'll link it up here. And if it's not linked up here, it's going to be in the description box below. Watch the self-inquiry playlist to understand how to really do this practice and get acclimated to it. It will completely transform your life. Okay? And if you want my personal help with this, if you want to shift to higher consciousness and create a life of peace, joy, and freedom, then apply for my accelerated reality program down below. Let's have a chat and see if this program is right for you. And let's see how I can help you create this transformation. But that's all I have for today. I hope you have a wonderful day. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next video.